Introduction. Why save or invest? So why do we have to save money? And why do we have to invest? The first one for us, maybe for George, Emmanuel, Blessing, Favor, and the others, our parents ask us to do so, right? Our parents ask us to save and invest. So, but the first thing is for financial security, in the sense that people who are not financially secure usually will not have the peace of mind to be able to achieve their goals. I usually will tell people it is very difficult to beg for money. In most cases, when you beg for money, people don't have enough money. And so, in most cases, they will tell you no, and that no may make you feel unhappy, and you blame yourself, and also sometimes blame others. So financial security is very important. And usually the best financial security is yourself. You have to do things that will help you to save and invest, so that when there's a need for money, then you have that money to take care of that need. And the second reason is to be able to achieve your financial goal. For example, you want to save for emergency, you want to save for your education. At the point in our life, for most of us now, you want to get married, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to have food, transportation. So you need money to achieve all these goals. And then the last major reason would be for wealth creation, to build wealth. After working for so many years, after you retire, or even before you retire, you want to be able to say, yes, I'm okay with my financial objective. Remember, life is not all about money. You have the spiritual and you have other things. But you can say, okay, I've created wealth for myself, for my family, and I could also be able to transfer this wealth to my kids and my grandkids and friends, or even the church, if you wanted to. So those are the three basic reasons. Now, Peter, in his introduction and prayers, mentioned about Nigeria, what is going on in Nigeria, for example. And I will extend that to say what is actually going on also in other parts of the world. Just as it's difficult to save money in Nigeria, it's also very difficult to save money in Canada, in the US, in Europe, and other parts of the world. That's a fact. So, but how do we save money? Because other people are able to do it, or very few people are actually able to do it. So one tool that we can use is a budget. A budget, what I usually would call a roadmap to our financial future. A budget. Now, we are not going to discuss about budgets. I'll just assume that most of us would have heard this word budget. What does budget do? We'll just go straight to it. It helps you to track your income and also your expenses. So the first part of a budget is, how much do I earn? How much do I make in a particular period of time? Let's say, for example, how much did I make in September last month? So income from your work, income from your side business, if you have one, gifts that you receive maybe from friends or parents. You have to track, keep a record of those. And how do we keep record of those? How do we even get the information? You can use your memory, but usually memory is not like 100% reliable. You can go to your bank statement and extract that figure. Same thing with your expenses. You can go to your bank statement, your credit card statement, or just write on paper, or use Google spreadsheet, or just Word, and record your expenses. Now, if you do this in a period of 6 months or 1 year, you'll be able to know the income that are reoccurring and also expenses that are reoccurring. And then, based on that, we'll still talk more about that later. You can do the analysis. Okay, my salary is this, gift is this. So over time, you know the ones that comes. And then you also will be able to analyze your expenses. Where is my money going? Where is my money going? You'll be able to answer that question. Maybe it's going to things that you really don't need. Maybe it's going to things that you need. Then that way, based on your analysis, you can make the decision to say, maybe I need to increase my income. I need to increase my income. Then how do I do that? Because you know that you need to increase your income, your brain, through your mind, you'll be able to say, maybe I need a promotion in my job. Maybe I need to get another job. Maybe I need to do another side business, right? Most times, people don't pay so much attention on the need to increase income as a way to save and invest or to create wealth. And if you don't do that, you will just be too much focused on the expenses, and your mind will just be troubled, maybe sometimes even unnecessarily. So you look for ways to increase your income, additional job, side hustles, increasing your skills and values, or maybe change your job. Then same thing, the analysis. I did one analysis for my customer some years back, and she found that most of our expenses were coming out from eating out, smoking, drinking alcohol. And at a point, she stopped me and said, I think you need to wait. I need to invite my husband to join this meeting. And after we discussed, they were able to rearrange their expenses and were able to save for down payment for a house. So a budget will help you to set and achieve your financial goals. It will help you allocate funds to different categories. So instead of just spending money without plan, you will intentionally be able to allocate funds to emergency, education, your wedding. Most times people don't think that they have to plan for their wedding. They're just hoping that people will give them gifts or they can borrow to do their wedding. Or housing, or food. You can say, okay, maybe I'm spending too much money eating out. I want to reduce it by a certain percentage. Or transportation. Maybe I'm spending too much money on transportation. Am I able to change my mode of transportation? Or what can I do? That will force you to think. And talking about thinking, periodically, maybe every quarter or twice a year or once a year, you review your budget and make adjustments as needed. Now, what are some practical ways to save money? The first one, we have indirectly talked about it. Cut unnecessary expenses. Unnecessary expenses would be personal. What are those expenses that I can either cut or reduce or even increase? So you can only know this if you track your expenses and if you do that review. So identify areas where you can reduce your spending. Is it dining out? Is it subscription? Sometimes we pay for subscriptions that we don't even use, right? Maybe I have any kind of subscription, TV, sports, phone. Look at those subscriptions. Do I really need them? If you don't need, cut. Is the amount too much? You can negotiate or go to a new carrier. Then you also have to determine by yourself and say, what are my wants? My wants are things that I really don't need, but I just spend that money anyway. What are the things that I really need at this point in my life? Right? What are the things that I really need at this point in my life? Then the things that you need, you focus on those. The things that you don't want, you either eliminate or you reduce it. Typically, it takes time to break a habit. So I usually will recommend reduce before eliminate. If you try to eliminate things at once, it probably will not work and will just cause you unnecessary frustration. Then the next one is impulse buying. Avoid impulse buying. This is very common. I don't know how it will be in Nigeria now, but here in Canada, and I'm sure in the US, there are so much pressure on us. We are on our phone, we see advert. We are watching TV advert. We are taking a walk in the mall. You see things where they will tell you 20% off, 50% off, sometimes even 75% off. Sometimes they will tell you the store is closing down. So people are forced to buy things that they don't need. So if you want to buy something, have a principle. For example, some professionals will say, if I want to buy maybe a TV, flat TV, postpone that buying. Just think about it for 24 hours or 48 hours so that you really know whether it's an emotional or impulse buying that you are about to engage in. I want to buy a car, for example. I love this car. There's a huge discount. My body is telling me, my mind is telling me, buy now. Take a break, just 24 hours or 48 hours. Let that emotion die down and then go back and see whether you, as a rational person, you actually need the item or goods or service that you want to pay for. Then the next one is create an emergency fund. Everybody, especially for us who are already working, think about the rainy day. Think about when you have issues at work, maybe not even due to your own fault. Can you survive 3 to 6 months without income? So to create an emergency fund is always the first objective of saving. It gives you peace of mind to say, if anything happens, I'll be able to survive 3 to 6 months without my regular income. So you have an account. This account you don't want to touch. It's like an insurance to you. So once you have that, then you cannot think of investing. So your emergency fund, you don't want to take too much risk on it. You just want to keep it maybe in a high interest yielding savings account, not in the stock market. But if you are good with the stock market, maybe you just buy like a money market fund where the risk is not so much. And for those who are outside Nigeria, while you are building your emergency fund, you can apply for a line of credit, but don't use it. That line of credit will give you like a peace of mind to say, there's something to happen to my job. I can go to my line of credit and survive for 3 to 6 months. There's also the option of insurance, income loss insurance. You can talk to your insurance company and just take insurance just in case anything happens. The insurance company will pay you your regular income for those periods until you get another job. Now, If you are able to create your emergency fund, then you cannot think of other things. And once you are able to say, okay, after emergency fund, I want to save for, say, education or my wedding or whatever, to make life easy, you do automatic savings, automate your savings. So you go to your bank, or you can do it online and just save regularly so that the money comes straight from your checking account to your savings account. And then from there, you can pull from your savings to investing. Then for those of us who are working, some employers have benefits. They can tell you, we'll deduct money for your retirement at source, which means before you are paid. For example, if they deduct $100, they will tell you they will match it by giving you another $100. It's an incentive to save. So that $100, if it's 100% match, becomes $200. If it's 50%, becomes $150. Right? If it's Naira, the same thing. You can, some companies will say, if you're able to save $10,000 every month, we'll give you additional 10,000 Naira. So it becomes 20,000 Naira. Some people, at least when I was in Nigeria, they will tell you, don't do it, don't do it. Now, why you? It's 419. It's not. It's just an incentive to make you or to force you to save. So that additional funds you are getting, whether 50% or 100%, is actually free money. So take advantage of it. In fact, if you are doing 50% and there's the option for 100%, go for 100%. It's free money. Another thing you have to consider is allocating expected and sometimes unexpected increase in your income. I'll give you an example. We are in October. Between now, November and December, some employers will increase your salary if you are the one that is working. If you are working, they may increase your salary by 2%. They may increase your salary by 3 or 4 or 5%. You have to deliberately allocate that increase in January. Otherwise, by the end of December next year, you'll be wondering, where did that money go? So what I normally do, if I'm to get an increase of, say, 5%, I calculate that 5%. How much will it be in dollar terms? Like, is without 5% result to a monthly increase of $100 or $200? Now, if I get that calculation, I'll say, okay, effective January next year, I'm going to allocate this $100 to my tax-free savings account or to my retirement savings plan, or allocate that money deliberately to pay down my mortgage, which will give me benefit from paying, just spend less in the overall cost of that mortgage. If you don't do that, you'll be surprised that additional increase in your salary, you will not be able to account for it at the end of the year or the following year. Now, sometimes, maybe during Christmas, you get unexpected gift. Don't do impulse spending with that money. Think about it and deliberately allocate that fund. Don't let it just sit down in your checking account. Allocate the funds to a specific financial goal. Now, we go to the second part of this presentation, which has to do with investing. What is investing? We are not going to spend time on that, but I will simply say investing helps us to grow our money. There is no use to put money in your, to leave money in your checking account without any adequate interest. There's also no need to hold cash apart from the amount that you actually need. So some amount of cash should be held, that when you have too much cash in your hand, you are losing the opportunity to grow that wealth. If you check the Bible, for example, we know the story of the talents that were given to different people. Some of them grew their money, some did not grow their money as expected, while one of them just buried the money, the talent, kept it just for safety. That's not what we should do. We should actually try to save and then grow our money. Now, how do we do this? We'll not go to too much details, but I'll just try to simplify it because this can be a lecture for 1 or 2 hours. The first investment you can make is investment in yourself. Investment in yourself. So what does this mean? Have a goal to increase your skills. Have goals to increase your knowledge, and therefore, with time, your value. You can say, okay, every month I want to invest, I'll still use dollars, maybe $50 or $20 or $30 or whatever works for you, to buy 1 or 2 books that will help me increase my financial knowledge, that will help me increase my skills based on the particular job I'm doing or the jobs that I plan to do in the future. The truth is that once you're able to develop yourself or invest in yourself, then your financial value will increase either in your current job or enable you to get a better job or business. The second one is to invest in stocks. I cannot see your faces right now, but I would have loved to see your faces when I ask this question. How many of us have had breakfast or lunch today? What did you eat? Did you take coffee this morning? How many of us watch TV? Right? So what the point I'm trying to make is try to buy or become a part owner of a company that is doing well. For example, I buy coffee from Tim Hortons or from Starbucks. I buy things from Walmart. I save money at a bank. I want to identify those good companies. I use Amazon to transport or buy things. I want to buy shares of those companies that I use every time. Those companies that I know are stable. I want to become part owner. So if you're able to have even as small as $50 or $100, you'll be able to buy shares of those companies. And as those companies make profits, they pay you a percentage of their profit based on your holdings of their shares or stock. Now, let's say I'm afraid to buy shares because they are risky. I could win or lose. I could make money or lose money. I want something that will give me a little more peace of mind. I can buy bonds, or in Nigeria, I can buy fixed deposit. I'm scared. I don't want to lose my money. I can invest $20,000 for a guaranteed interest. I can do a fixed deposit of 20,000 naira and the bank will pay me interest. So in that way, my principal is guaranteed. For shares or stock, your principal is not guaranteed. It will either go up or down. But in finance, we say the higher the risk, the higher the returns. So investment in shares or stock will give you more profit, while bond will give you lesser profit, but more peace of mind. You can also buy investments that combines various companies. For example, I want to reduce my risk, so I buy mutual funds, which is a basket of stocks, which will help me to distribute my risk or balance my risk. So if I buy a mutual fund, for example, that those companies are invested in oil and gas, real estate, consumer goods, I'll say no matter what, I will not lose as much. But again, going back to finance, you also will not gain as much as buying shares directly. You could also invest in ETFs. Say I don't have time, I can just buy S&P 500 ETF. So what does that do? I buy a basket of the best 500 companies in the world, or at least North America. Just those companies will be mirrored in your ETF. And so my risk is distributed. And I don't need to worry so much. I don't need to pay too much attention as I would have done buying the shares of a company directly. Now I can do the same by investing in real estate. Now people will say, no, how can I invest in real estate when I don't even have money or when I'm a student? There are companies that you can buy their shares and they will help you to manage that real estate. You indirectly become a landlord, even though you don't have so much money to buy a house or you don't have time to manage a property. So you look for those companies and just buy their shares. They do everything for you. They manage those properties on your behalf. And in most countries, the government forced them to do a very large payout. Sometimes they could pay out as much as 90% of the profit to people who invest in that company. So having a combination of cash, only the amount that you need, you have your emergency funds, you have some shares, you have some ETFs, you have some real estate distribution. All this will help you to have like a balanced portfolio and help you to create wealth while also managing your peace of mind. Now, let's look at some tips that can help us. Most times, I would say, especially in Nigeria compared to, say, Canada or the US, most people focus, actually all over the world, because we've met people here who are not even Nigerians. They will tell you, I don't have money to invest. When I have money, when I become rich, I can start investing. The truth is that they focus on amount, but amount is not really the magic when it comes to wealth creation. The magic when it comes to wealth creation is not amount, is time. Time. So if I invest $100 today, I'll be better off in 20 years compared to somebody who invests even 50,000 in 15 years' time. So I want to have 50,000 accumulated, then I invest in 15 years' time. But 20 years proud, I just invest consistently $100. If you do the math, we are not able to use the calculator here. If you do the math, the person that starts early is always going to be the winner. The reason for that is what is called the power of compound interest. For those of us who know mathematics, I'm sure most of us would have taken maths. There's what is called simple interest. There's what is called compound interest. Compound interest is something that very few people know of, at least the power of compound interest. This is very key in investing. Start small, give it time, and allow the magic of compound interest to work. The second tip is diversify your portfolio. Spread your risk into different classes of assets: cash, stock, bond, real estate. Don't put all your money in one basket. If that basket leaks, then your money will disappear. But if you know that that basket is secure, then there's no problem. You can put all your investments in one basket, but just know that you are taking a higher risk compared to somebody who is able to spread his investment or money into various classes of assets. Then another thing which is even more important than money Until I become rich, I cannot invest. I'm not able to feed today. Why should I think of investment? Is knowledge, doing research, understanding the companies that you are investing in, and also understanding risk and reward. If you do not sacrifice today, if you do not take risk when you are young, if you do not give up certain things at your current age, you will lose out when it comes to wealth creation. You will regret when you become old. So seek for knowledge, research, don't follow the crowd. Most people want to invest where their money will double in the next 2-3 months. No, that is not investment. That is not wealth creation. So do your research before you invest your money so you don't lose your money. Then always know that there is no reward without risk. Even in the Bible is there, Jesus risked his life. He actually died to save us. If Jesus did not die, we would not have been saved today as Christians. If you do not study hard or give up some of your sleep as a student, you will not do well in school. So there is always risk. There is always sacrifice to get reward. Sometimes people want to get the reward, but they don't want to take the risk. They don't want to do the work. Do the work and don't just take advice from people who don't know what they are doing. One thing you must do is don't take advice from people who are poor financially, right? Take advice from people who know what they are doing. And if you do your research and you are still confused, seek help from a professional. Consult a financial advisor, but also try to know the background of that professional advisor before you take his advice. So, key takeaways as we conclude. The first one is savings and investing are essential for financial success. Budget is a critical tool for managing money. And please, as much as possible, put your budget on paper or on a spreadsheet, not your memory. Don't say, I will remember all the income I made in the past 1 year or next 1 year or my expenses. Try to document, review, and make changes as required. There are various ways of savings and investing strategies to consider. We've discussed some of them, but it's just the beginning. Try to buy books that will help you to have more and more knowledge about investing and savings. And remember to start early to take advantage of compound interest. Start early. That big amount that you are looking for before you start will never come. A small amount you used to grow big amount. And seek professional advice if needed. And finally, and this is really, really very important, think long term. Think long term, not 1 year, not 2 years. Think 5 years, think 10 years, think 15, 20. Be focused and be patient. It takes time for money to grow. It takes time for your savings to grow. Be patient. Don't do gambling, thinking that you are investing. Just be patient. Give your money time to grow. And then we have a call to action. We've heard this presentation, maybe not the first time, but one thing that is usually missing for people who don't succeed is the need to take action. So please, I beg you guys, begin your budgeting today. Begin your savings and investment today. Just start where you are. Start where you are. Don't wait until that big money comes. Do your research. Again, develop yourself on financial literacy. Just improve your financial knowledge. And finally, take steps towards achieving your financial goals. Take deliberate steps. It won't happen by magic. It won't happen by relocating to Canada or to Russia or US or wherever. Start from where you are, because it's going to be the same even when you leave Nigeria. So I'll stop here and take any question from all of us, or maybe additional comments or contribution. Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So before I start, thank you, Uncle. Really, really helpful. Very, very helpful. But regarding savings and investing, would you say that it's been good for us to, let's use someone like me now in my stage, to go into shares, or do you think that I should be looking more at a high risk investment in order to
Yeah,
get a high
thanks
reward?
for that question. So if I want to rephrase, you are saying at your stage, is it advisable to go into shares?
Yes, because I mean, someone like me who doesn't really have in terms of financial responsibilities, I don't have as much or as many, like
Yeah,
family wise and children and all that. So what would you say would be the best investment for someone like me that's currently working and earning to go into?
yeah. So I would say shares is okay. Real estate is also okay. So when you say high risk investment, I just want to understand that. Can you give an example of what you
No, I
have
know
in
you
mind?
you mentioned some. I know like a lot of people now that are into forex and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. So that's one thing.
Yeah, exactly. So some people are into forex, some people are into trading, gold. What's the other one? Crypto, right? So what will be my response and my advice? I'll say, for me, I will say forex trade. I will say don't invest in something you don't know,
Mm.
right?
Yes, sir.
I've done all of those. I've done forex, right? I've done trading. In fact, I did trading a lot um, growing up, right?
Mm.
But I studied a lot about it. Some people just want to do it for doing sake, but somebody like Warren Buffett will tell you the knowledge first before the investment. So if you study so much about say crypto or forex trading or even stock trading, you study so much, you know what you are doing. Yes, why not? But again, you don't want to put all your money into that high risk. You want to start with your investment objective. Why am I investing? For example, if George is going to get married in the next 2 years or 3 years, that's a short time for money. If you lose in forex trading or share trading, to recover your money. So that kind of money that is specific, you don't want to do it. You don't want to do high risk investment with that. Or say you are saving to buy a house, right?
Yes, sir.
That kind, you don't want to do it. Say money you don't mind losing, then play with it. In fact, you can even start with paper. Most of these trading companies have paper money. That's how I got my knowledge.
Yeah.
I bought paper money for free. Just pretend that you spend some money. Then you do your paper trading. Then once you master it, then you'll be able to do it. Then if you're able to do it, you can actually make a lot of money. A lot of people made money during COVID because they had more time to trade. I don't know if I've answered your question.
No, no, you have.
Start with your investment objective. Then from there, you do a combination of investment, high risk, medium risk, and all that. And then when you get married, you have kids, don't use your children's education to do forex trading. They will come for you. Yeah. So it's based on your investment objective and time. Is that catchy?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, go ahead. You're welcome. Yeah. Any other question? If we don't have any
I
other
think Peter's hand
question,
is up.
then who is up? I can't see. Sorry, does any other person have any other question? Oh, Amy, please go ahead.
Hello, Uncle. Good evening. Thank you so much. I was wondering about that budget part. So, you had said the first part is like try to increase your income, which in fact mind blowing. Then the second part is about reducing. Actually, you just said making your expenses clear. I guess my question is, as you've worked with clients, how have you helped, people, and how would you suggest we also build realistic budgets? Not what we are hoping for, but like literal reality, if that makes sense.
Yes. So most of my customers, in fact, I had Emmanuel is here. There was there's a place where we do shopping. There was somebody that saw me in Superstore and almost lifted me up easily like that. I thought I was big and heavy. The guy was so happy what I did for him. And we also had experience in another mall where, based on the advice I gave people, they were able to essentially save for down payment and buy a house. So the way I normally would tell people is think on paper or software, maybe a spreadsheet. Now, I can look for a budget template to share with everyone here. So you start with your income, right? The income side, and then expenses. And don't be too hard on yourself when you just start at the beginning. What you want to do is, no matter how hard it is, you don't want to spend more than you earn. If you see that you are spending more than you earn or you are relying on credit, then there's a problem. You have to be realistic with yourself and say, I don't want to spend more than I earn. And then you start doing the readjustment. And don't forget, if you have been living a lifestyle for 10, 20 years, or even 5 years, it will take time for you to readjust. So be patient with yourself. Then as you are able to track your spending and making those adjustments, you will find that you'll be able to save. Now, I tell my customers or my clients to say, so when you are doing your expenses, start with a small amount as savings as the first expense. So no matter what, even if you are living beyond your means, say from this month, after this presentation by Lucky Kale, I want to automate my savings $100 every month. That will be your first expense. And then you go from there. Then as you're able to reduce other expenses, you deliberately increase your savings. And after some time, you will discover that it's possible to save anywhere. And people have testified to this. Like I told you, I've gotten crazy reaction from people when they meet me in public. In fact, there was one time I went to shop. Somebody I wanted to make payment. They saw the name. Oh, Mr. Lucky, you have helped me a lot. I've been saving money since I started watching your YouTube videos. That's it. So, Mr. Amy, I hope I answered your question. George, go ahead.
Sorry, man, just a follow-up. I know you mentioned it's not good to keep cash or your money in your account, but what would you say, like someone like me, I like to see the money there. I like to know that
Yeah.
I make this money is right there. What kind of How else can I do it in a way that I'm not wasting the money, but also I'm seeing my hard work? It's motivating.
Yeah.
Okay, you can get more.
Yeah, I have the same. I would say I'm the same like you, maybe the same blood. I like to see my money. I like to see my money. So I would say there's no day that I've passed that I did not check my bank account before going to bed.
Same.
I just log in, check. If I can tell you if $1 is not accounted for, then there's a problem. So the good thing is that most banks show all your investment today compared to in the past. So you see your checking, you see your regular savings, and just below you will see your investment. Right? So you have to shift your mind from just looking at the checking accounts to also your investment and your credit, especially today where there is so much fraud. Some people have lost money by other people using their credit card. You want to look at all your checking, your regular savings, your investment, and your credits. So after some time, mentally, if you look at your bank statement, not your bank statement, your online banking every day before you go to bed, that will give you the same feeling as seeing your money in your checking account. And if you are risk adverse, which is okay, our risk tolerance will not be the same. As we grow, it will be changing. Then you can do some safe investment where your principal is guaranteed. You only just be getting interest. But if you leave your money in your checking accounts just for the sake of seeing it, the bank will lend that money to other people who can take risk. And that's how banks make their profit. So people like us who invest, we like people like you who don't want to invest. That's where we make money. And that's why banks are rich.
Yeah.
So after some time, just checking your online account will give you the same satisfaction that you are looking for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah. Any other question? Otherwise, I will hand over the meeting to Mr. Peter Oyewole. Okay, thank you, everyone. So, Peter, you can take over.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation, sir. But sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, sir. In Nigeria of today, there will be some time someone will actually want to actually save money, and is that same money that we save, is that same money we will still be spending in Nigeria? Because there was a time I actually wanted saved some money. That even that money that will save me. So in that situation, what can someone do?
Maybe what you can do is to come to Canada or go to US. Okay. On a serious note, I was telling somebody last week, and I mean it. We need to change our mindset that Nigeria is not the only country in the world. Right? Human needs are the same anywhere in the world. Human needs are the same. I understand that life may be more difficult in some countries, but we should try as much as possible not to be consumed by what I would call negative mindsets of impossibilities. The number of homeless people here in Canada is not even as much as we have in Nigeria, right? And this is a developed country. So many homeless people, so many poor people. Remember what I said initially. Your objective. There's nothing wrong if you save money and eventually you use it. The essence of savings is for a particular objective. Now, Peter, where you should start is what I said before. Before you even save, ask yourself, what am I saving for? Start from the objective and try to stick with that objective. Because in finance, we are told that no matter the amount you have, there will always be various needs that will chase that particular money. Right? So money can never be more than enough. Money can never be more than enough. So I'll say, let me ask Peter, that money that you were saving, what were you saving it for?
I was saving to actually buy like I was
To buy what?
just that time I had a lot of money and I don't want to spend the money lavishly. So I kept the money in my I kept money with someone. So one day I was in need of money because I had to pay for my project in school. And thank God I actually had that money with me. So I quickly used the money that I kept with someone to actually feed the bills of my project in school.
Okay, so you did well. I'll say that money was like for emergency. And that need came and you spent that money. Right?
Yes, sir.
So there's nothing wrong in it. If you are in Canada or the US, it's the same thing that will still happen. So that you spend that money, or most people will go and borrow, and then they will pay interest on it. But in your case, you did not pay interest on it. You had a plan when you had too much money, so you set money aside. And so when there was a need, you spend that money to meet that need. So the only thing I would say, let's change our language to say in Nigeria, in Nigeria, in Nigeria. No, it's the same all over the world. So you did well. But next time, be very definite and say, this is my emergency fund, so that when certain things come, you can say no or yes to it, because this is why I'm saving that money. Praise. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for the knowledge sharing. It's very much appreciated. Mine is not a question. It's just relating to what you said, and also what Georgie and Peter also said too. George said that he likes seeing his money, and I'm like that too. I like saying that, oh, I have this money here. But there's I don't know if the app works for people abroad, but there's this app that I use, and like you said, it's not good to keep your money in your savings account. So I save my money with PiggyVest, and PiggyVest has different how will I put, different segments or different section. If you are just saving for emergency fund, US 12, they'll give you, your interest is 12%. If you are locking the money for different from 30 to 61 days, 12%. Longer than that, there's 13, there's 17, and then just like that. That's how their own is. So why I like to see my money, I'm seeing my money, and I'm also seeing the interest that I'm developing like daily showing, and every month you get that that interest is paid back to you, and then you continue like that. And that's basically what I just wanted to share. And then I think I learned about one 2 days ago, Optimum by our free vest. I'm just going through it too. So instead of just keeping the money in just like your normal bank and not getting anything at all from it, there are apps that are actually like they're actually approved, and you can save there and also invest and get money back too.
Thank you, Praise, for sharing. So that's a good one. But one thing I will say, just borrowing from Peter, in Nigeria, we should be careful. So try, Praise, to spread your money. Don't put all your money in one particular bank or company, right? Because of the rate of failure of banks. We experienced that in Nigeria when we were in Nigeria. So try to diversify. Try to spread your investment. And also with regular banks, for example, I know Zenith Bank, GT Bank, they can also do investment for you. So what you also do is research the owners of those apps, so that your money, they will not just disappear one day with your money. It happens a lot all over the world, is even in Canada here. There is more in developing countries. So do your research before you invest with those companies. And if you don't have time to invest, think of the big banks that the government will not allow to fail. They can also do the same kind of investments for you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm. Blessing E.
A wonderful presentation. So I really like the part of how we have to think long term. But I'm just wondering, since there's so many things to save for, like if it's a house or our wedding or our retirement, so like how do we like allocate how much we should save like each week or each month for those bigger things? Like, because there's a lot of things to save for.
Okay. Yeah. So there are usually a lot of things to save for. And one of the least one at our age, we say, why is Uncle talking about retirement? Most people don't think of their retirement until they are like 60, 70, 80, and then it's too late. So what you do is to identify what you have to save for, right? There are certain things you must do based on your age, right? For example, wedding is one, based on our age. Education is another one. And I would say the one that is like long term is retirement. But don't forget, like I also said, if you start small for something that is long term, small amounts will grow over time, right? So if you are working, if you want to accept a job, one thing you can ask them or find out is their retirement plan. So companies usually will help employees to plan for retirement. So they just take a small amount from your salary, you won't even notice, and they put it in the management company that manage their retirement plan. Most cases, if you do like say a small amount, as small as $100, they will match it and make it $200. So in essence, to answer your question, you do allocation based on what you need now and what you will need in the future. You don't want to forget certain things that must happen in the future. You want to buy a car, right? You want to do some professional exams, education. You also want to do, maybe you want to buy a house, right? So how do I do this? Which one should come first based on my life situation? And this will be personal to individuals, but it's just having the other things in mind. So if I want to buy a house versus a car, which one should I do first? I want to buy a car versus a house. Which one should I do first? Now, to answer that question, I would say it depends on your personal situation. If I need that car to get to a job, then I'll buy the car first. Right? Some employers will insist that you must have a car. At least in Canada, because of winter, you must have a car. And so the decision is very easy. I buy a car first and then buy a house. If I do not need a car to go to work, I can buy a house first, rent that house, stay in maybe the basement, rent up upstairs or the reverse. And the money I make from that rental investment, I use it to buy a car later. So it depends. So most cases, you cannot satisfy all your needs, but you have to look at your financial situation and what is more important and urgent at a particular point in time.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we have to stop here for now. So Peter, please take over the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
We talked about, I think, wealth creation. Today, we want to see and invest. That will just be the objective of today's presentation.